Welcome back, traders. We are going to be going over two key meme stocks going as the name of AMC and GameStop, GME, baby, and what they look like going into the week. You had a red day for these two stocks, a green day overall in the market. However, I do believe that these are key pullbacks into significant support and resistant areas. You can look at just the amount of special resistance and support you have around $25. What we noticed also was the POC, or point of control, on this stock that we went into in our last video. But just look at what you have at $25, guys, or $24.50. You have the daily golden cross that you are going to be retesting, and I expect a nice sized launch off of this golden cross retest, just like you had, right? Just like you had back in 2024. You can look at what happened. Just look at it. Look how beautiful it is, right? You had a golden cross. You came all the way back down and you retested it almost to the wick and to the penny. And then you moved 170%, guys. 170%. So you look at where you're at currently. You're in a expanding bullish megaphone pattern. And in case you guys do not know, right, a megaphone pattern. That's just a megaphone. This is what a megaphone pattern looks like typically, right? You get a move up, higher highs and lower lows until you find a breakout, a retest, and then a full freaking send. And you may be asking me, how do you take the profit of a bullish megaphone pattern, right? Well, the beauty is it's very simple. You take the bottom to the top, you make it drop, and then you get your price target, right? So this was your price target theoretically, right? That stubborn $34 area. Now, could we stop there? We totally could. But do I think we're going to see that full extension into that 38, 39 and make a full touch of this sloping uptrend resistance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and potentially your sixth touch of this top side resistance. I'd like to see GameStop do it, and I think it's got the muster to do so, right? So very, very good things. Those are two bullish things right off the bat that we're covering on GameStop. And it looks really, really good here because you look at the volume, right? And that is two days in a row of decreasing bearish volume. What does that mean, right? That means typically that bears are running out of steam, even though they're relatively large comparatively, right, to the bullish. You are going into significant support off of lowering volume, guys. That usually spells one thing, and it means up, right? It means that this could be some kind of spring-loaded trap for the bears to get cooked and for bulls to profit off of. So if I was to look for short-term swings, I would potentially look off of the 50-day EMA that's currently at 24.87, guys. That is how close we are to getting a full test of this golden cross breakout. And I expect it to happen as soon as tomorrow morning, right? You could totally see that, and then a dramatic rally, right? See something like that. Bam, bam. Or maybe even, right? If you're talking bullish megaphone breakout, you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. You're talking into the gap fill, touch the bottom, reject, bounce off the top, and then you're gone, right? Totally possible. And oftentimes these megaphone patterns, that last stretch is extremely volatile. And let me just give you an example of this, right? Let's go to BTC, because BTC is making an all-time freaking high right now. And it just did earlier today, 126, absolutely phenomenally insane. You can see pretty much the exact same setup that GameStop has, right? Expanding megaphone pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it didn't come all the way down because you had a uptrend support catch you before going literally in a slingshot from 109 all the way to 126. That is how volatile these setups can get, right? This expanding bullish megaphone. And you're not done here. I don't think so for Bitcoin. And just further validation, we all know, guys, GameStop holds BTC. GameStop holds Bitcoin. So seeing that that asset is at an all-time high, GameStop is proving its financial literacy, and Ryan Cohen is flexing his muscles a little bit right now. So I am very, very interested to see how this reacts tomorrow, because tomorrow could be the absolute proof in the pudding here that the Golden Cross setup is there. And not only is it a Golden Cross retest, guys. Let's go into GameStop on the what is it called? VRVP. VRVP. This is what we covered time and time again on this stock. And I go to the daily time frame. I zoom. Why is it weird like that? Come on. Okay, wants to be stubborn. Bruh. Well, on the daily time frame, you can see that the VRVP is actually giving 27.37 as a critical resistance point in the volume. This is where the most volume has been traded on this stock. And you can see it, right? You gap above, get above, you rock it, you retest, you go, you chop on it, reject, reject. You pretty much perfectly wicked off of it there, and you pretty much perfectly wicked off of it there, right? So you are now seeing this volume profile come into key resistance here. So if you're able to see that Golden Cross retest really spring you above, retest and then go, that would be ideal. But I like GameStop at this price point. I think anything below 25 is a steal. And worst case scenario here, guys, like let's talk bear case scenario. You see some kind of minor rally into the 9-day EMA here in the orange. You knife below the Golden Cross retest. You get the gap fill, reject. You go all the way down to 21. That would be your worst case scenario. And of course, there is a scenario where you also get the gap fill and then you come all the way back up, right? Totally possible if GameStop wants to fill this gap before moving higher, and very, very bullish for a false breakout, a broken pattern to eventually move significantly higher. So that is what I'm looking for on GME, on GameStop. The one, the only, can't stop, won't stop. GameStop, I expect a green close on the week. Let's get into AMC because there's a lot of uncertainty in AMC's price action here, and you're going to want to listen because everyone could say that this stock is toasted, it's done, but the macro speaks a story for itself, right? And you look at what you've done recently. You broke this bullish falling wedge, and this actually came all the way back down today. And it doesn't look great, right? First reaction doesn't look great here. But what you could totally be doing here is just getting the third tap along this uptrend, aka 1, 2, 3 rising valleys. One of the top bullish continuation patterns in the entire stock market, marking 270, 267? 267 as your bottom of this falling wedge. Also potential, though, that you go minor rally, reject, and you trade into this falling wedge before seeing a crazy markup. And either one is bullish, guys. I don't want you to think that AMC's cooked here if it goes to 272, 271, right? Like we talked about. Either situation is bullish because the macro in this stock is that you have a unique setup. You have a very special opportunity here to not only break out of a falling wedge in the micro, but break out of a symmetrical triangle. Also to get a quarterly MACD cross for the first time since 2021. So that is what we're monitoring, guys. That is what we're looking for on this stock. And you can just see how coiled it is down here. I think going to the monthly, it really does show how coiled this stock is. I mean, look how small these percentage gains are in the monthly time frame. The last 3 months, 6%, 3%, and 3%. And now you're pretty much flat. You're exactly flat on the month so far. So looking at the Bollinger Bands, you can see that you have the tightest Bollinger Bands beginning to expand for the first time since back here, right? This was the other tightest time they've been. You saw a significant drawdown in the stock price, all the way down to, what is that, 88% down. However, I think the story has changed on AMC, as have the macro indicators, right? You look at the quarterly MACD, you look at the monthly Bollinger Bands being this tight inside of a bullish reversal pattern, the falling wedge. And then you also just look at the fundamental improvement. You are in a significantly better spot here than you were here. So why are you here? You get what I'm saying, right? You have a box office hit. Taylor Swift going absolutely crazy during her Eras tour. Debt reduction, fundamental change of profitability, right? Positive EBITDA quarter over quarter, and then also just reducing costs. A good business model is reducing your brick costs, your in-store costs, and expanding your top-line sales. That will eventually get AMC profitable. Mark my words, right? So AMC, nasty close on the daily time frame. Let's go into that. So on the daily time frame, nasty close. Get rid of the Bollinger Bands, and you can see here on an increase of volume. So I don't love that. Let's see how it reacts tomorrow to this 288 level. If you're able to get back above the 50-day EMA, even better, right? Because you rejected that as well. I do not want to see us close beneath and test this 50. That would be significantly bearish, and I think you would come all the way back down to 270. On an increase of volume, even worse, right? So AMC has the setup. You just need to see quite literally as early as tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, a follow through and a significant turnaround in the week projection. And it honestly looks really, really good because the entire stock market today, and looks like it's going to be with crypto absolutely mooning, could be green once again. So I'd like to see this turn around at that trend line. If you don't, you're coming down to 270. Crystal clear. We went over the macro. We went over the micro. You're still within a bullish reversal pattern with the inevitable goal of crossing the 200-day EMA for the first time in over 5 years, guys. So that is my coverage of AMC, GameStop, all the levels. You know it. You love it. Gap fill at 13, gap fill at 19, gap fill at 30 or 43. That is what we're watching for within this macro double bottom. Whoops, it took me back to the previous one. Macro double bottom and macro double bottom. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for. So that is my coverage on GME, AMC. You are coming to critical resistance on these two stocks. So make sure to watch and look for the levels and the indicators that we've specified in this video. Do your own due diligence. God bless to each and every single one of you and your families. Have a wonderful rest of the day and peace. Woo! I will see you guys in the next video. Sayonara.